Now we do Peggy. Steps are basically exactly the same. We start with a gesture. We'll just draw Peggy standing as well. Now Peggy is a woman, so she obviously has different proportions. She has wider hips, longer legs, shorter torso, narrower shoulders. Now, the other thing about Peggy, and we always indicate this right at the gesture stage, is that Peggy has extremely large feet. So we like to try to draw her feet in right at the beginning as big as we can. Her feet are actually, on the model, they're the same size as Hank's, even though I think in reality her feet would actually be much larger. But it just would look very awkward in the drawing. We just indicate Peggy's head. We usually indicate Peggy's head without the hair. Her hair is like a whole other entity on her head. So we just indicate the rough shape of her head. Her head is actually more realistically shaped than most. We have Peggy as a gesture. Step 2, construction. We start adding basic shapes to Peggy. Her torso is a little bit more barrel-shaped than Hank's. And we try to draw her, maybe, I don't know if masculine is the word we want to use, but she's not as feminine or sexy as, say, a Luann is. We indicate her breast line, her arms, just like I said, basic cylinders coming off of the shoulder. Indicate her hands, her knuckle lines, her thumb. Her legs, thinner and slender. Now, we actually do indicate Peggy's legs, and she either wears a skirt or shorts, so you do see her legs, unlike Hank. So we have to indicate calves and knees, other things that you're going to see. Again, with more realistic forms and proportions than, say, Hank. Indicate her neck, her ear, and that's step 2. Step 3, detail. In this particular occasion, we're going to have Peggy wearing her shorts. It's her everyday outfit. Sometimes she wears a skirt. The skirt comes down a little bit lower. In this case, we're going to have her wearing shorts. They're fairly baggy, and they come to just above the knee. So we indicate her first leg, the second short leg. Sharpen that up a little bit. Like I said, they're fairly large, billowy shorts. And like Hank, she tucks her shirt into her belt, so we're going to indicate the same sort of fold lines in the bottom of her shirt, just to give her a little dimension. Then we put her belt in, same thing as with Hank. It follows the same line as the bottom of her stomach. The collar of her shirt. This particular outfit of Peggy's is sleeveless. I like to indicate just a little bit of armpit right in there, just so that you can tell that it's a shirt and that her arm's not just magically growing out of this trunk. A little detail on her hands. She has longer, slender fingers and hand than Hank, as women do. Just a little indication of her shoulder on that side. And her arm. Because she has the wider hips, it hides her hand when she's standing in this 3/4 view. We sharpen up her legs. Then we start indicating her shoes. She wears these sort of pull-on culotte slipper type things. And like I said, Peggy has very large feet. So we draw them large, noticeably large. Now, the original model of Hank was drawn by Mike Judge. It was more of a concept sketch that he had done. He had drawn a sketch of the entire family, Hank, Peggy, and Bobby, which is where he got his original idea for the show. The model that we use now was developed second season by our original supervising director, a man by the name of Wes Archer. Wes actually took a lot of Mike's original concept drawings and developed a lot of the models that we have now, including Peggy and Bobby. Darken up a few of the lines. Then we'll move on to the face. Now, the thing about Peggy is her hair can be fairly challenging to draw. It's made up of several units. I start with the front, sort of bangs. It's oblong shaped. I find the center point that follows the same center line as her face. Then the top of her hair is sort of like another sphere type shape, and then she has a part right there in the corner. And then we start indicating her hairline. Peggy's head is sort of cloud-like, or cotton ball-like. If you imagine it like a series of clouds or cotton balls, that it helps. Now she has these parts also on the top of her head. There's actually 3 of them. And there's the part where the top of her hair and her bangs meet. Then you indicate the 3 little parts right there. Then she has this feathering on the bangs of her hair, just like that, sort of a layering effect. Up her neck a little bit. There's her chin. Indicate her ear. The interior line. Now Peggy's head divides just like Hank's. You have a nose line and an eye line. And then I'd also like to put in the little line that shows where the front of her head starts. Now, also like Hank, Peggy wears glasses, which is good because it gives her something to frame. Her glasses are larger than Hank's, so I draw them a little bit higher, a little bit wider. They're kind of granny glasses, I guess you could say. They're rounded on all 4 corners. They're a little wider than they are high too, but in some perspectives they might look square. Put the centerpiece in. Put in the earpiece. It starts high, moves low, connects to the bottom corner of her glasses. Sharpen up the edge of the glasses a little bit. Define the side of her face a little bit better. And we move on to her nose. We come down straight off the inside of the glasses to indicate where the nostril is going to be. Very similar to Hank, sort of an S shape for the inside of her nose to indicate the nostril. Then we indicate the outside nostril, which is a little round shape. Then her mouth. Being a woman, we actually indicate all of Peggy's lips. It's more than just a line and a lower lip indication. It's sort of football shape. You divide it down the middle. There is a little divot in the middle, just like on people. And then a fuller lower lip. We indicate the jawline coming off of the ear. Sharpen up the chin a little bit. Indicates the shape of Peggy's jaw. Now for the eyes. Peggy's eyes are fairly simply shaped. They're just sort of football shaped, but flattened on the sides. So we just sort of do 2 kind of oblong egg shapes. They're more curved on the top than on the bottom. For the pupils, same as Hank. 2 circles, open-ended circles, hollow in the middle, to indicate a highlight. And then in her neutral pose, Peggy's eyebrows are actually inside of her glasses. Sometimes if she's surprised or angry or what have you, her eyebrows will actually move above her glasses. This is the point where we go in, sharpen up the lines we want to keep. We'll erase any lines that are too dark, any construction lines that we don't need that are too dark. And that's Peggy.